healthy communication is all about the end goal. Like if you spend 20, 25 minutes having a conversation with somebody and you leave after that 20, 25 minutes of conversation feeling even worse, feeling like there was no resolve, then what was the point? You just wasted 20, 25 minutes. What came from it? You know what I'm saying?
Melanie
That's
P.
Scary.
Talk
That's
to him.
Scary with Melanie P. That's scary with Melanie P. Come on. Here we go.
Welcome to another episode of the That's Scary with Melanie P podcast. I am your host, Melanie P, and we are here to have a little kiki. You guys, before I get started, make sure you hit that subscribe button for me. Again, dropping all the content that you want to hear every week, multiple times a week. So make sure you have hit that subscribe button. Listen, today we're having just a small conversation about communication. And before I get into that, I just want to know, is it me? Am I late? Am I just not, like, is my ear not just on in the streets and where it needs to be? Because why are people not talking about Lotto's song Sunday Service? You know, I've done a review about Meg Thee Stallion. I've done a review for Cardi B and I think Nicki Minaj briefly. And here are my top two female rap in order that I'm fucking with on everything. 10 toes down. Nicki Minaj and Lotto. I want to hear if you guys are feeling the same thing. Like, I feel like I don't hear enough conversation when it comes to Lotto. Like, I've literally been playing Lotto's Sunday Service on repeat, like literally on repeat. It's just everything. And that's how you know a song is really good, is if you hear it and then like it gets you kind of hype and then you want to play it over and over and over again. Sunday Service, it's so many lines in there that just get me feeling it. So yeah, I don't know where I've been, but this Lotto's music consistently and constantly is fire to me. And I'm just so confused as to why she isn't getting, you know, more hype than what she's getting. Sunday Service, Sunday Service, Sunday Service. Before I listened to it, I was like, what the hell is Sunday Service? And then she was talking about we pull up in these black cars like it's Sunday Service. I'm feeling it. Shout out to Lotto for being consistent with putting out the music. I'm really fucking with it, y'all. Anyway, we are talking today about communication. So I have a lot of episodes on my podcast talking about relationships. And most recently, I have had a lot of conversation talking about, you know, healthy relationships, bridging the gap, pulling people together, because it's so much of a overflow of toxicity and, you know, tearing people apart in terms of the podcast, especially in the Black community and the Black podcaster space. So I really want to kind of be different than that. I don't want to consistently talk about stuff that's going to make us debate and argue more. And something happened to me that I really wanted to share that I thought was like, wow, this is how communication should be. So I'm not going to go into personal details, but there was a situation that happened a couple of months ago, and two of my relatives, really, I'll say a good friend of mine and a relative, right? There was a difference of opinion in a situation that happened. And let's keep paralleling this family communication and conversation to relationships. So again, communication, healthy communication, is the foundation for any relationship, not just romantic. Even in the workplace, healthy communication breeds healthier employees and better work. In relationships, healthy communication has an opening for conversation to have people be on the same page and have you be comfortable to come to your partner with different issues or concerns versus like have them build up inside. So I know anyone who is, again, even if you're not in a relationship, you work, right? And communication is just so important. Like, it's literally how you get through life. And here's the thing. my teenager is very much introverted and has a little bit of social anxiety, and sometimes she tells me how she wants to be in a space when she grows up work-wise where she doesn't have to really deal with people. And I totally get that, but I always tell her that your ability to effectively communicate is really your lifeline as an adult in every space of your life. School, work, relationship, at the grocery store, you know what I'm saying? Customer service. Your ability to have healthy communication is literally the foundation of any relationship. So let me go back. I was with a group, family, and whatever, and we were having a very big disagreement, not even a big disagreement, but just a very big difference of opinion, right? And so how we unpacked that disagreement, at the end of that conversation, I was like, damn, this was the most healthiest conversation, because it was two and a half people together who there was an issue, right? And one person saw the issue one way and the other person saw the issue another way, which if you don't have communication skills, healthy communication skills, calm communication skills, just healthy communication skills, it could make something that is small be so much bigger. So again, in this situation, it's people who are not agreeing with something that occurred, right? So party A expressed themselves and told me their opinion on a situation that happened. Me, party B, okay, Cardi B, me, party B, Cardi B, saw it very, very differently. And so what happened and what took place there is what I feel like should always take place in healthy communication and arguments and disagreements. Party A, okay, they communicated the situation. They communicated how they saw the situation. They communicated how the situation made them feel. And that was it, period, hard stop. Me being party B, even though I did not agree or see this issue or situation the same way that party A saw it, I did not interrupt, but because we're going to keep it real in the buck here, when I did interrupt, party A was like, let me get it out. And me being an adult, me being someone who thrives on communication, just at the basic definition, but I also thrive on just healthy communication. And so nobody is perfect. And you have to understand that when you're having conflict, disagreements, perception is everything, right? And so you could sit there all day with your partner, with your coworker, with your classmate, and not agree with anything that they're saying. But one of the most disrespectful things that you can do in a conversation, especially a somewhat heated conversation, especially a conversation where people are not coming to the table agreeing, is interrupt the person while they're talking. And let's, again, keep it a buck. It is natural. It is a natural reaction that when you're having a conversation, especially about something where you're not seeing eye to eye on something that happened, it's a very natural thing for you to want to like stop or interrupt or be like, wait, you know what I'm saying? But even if you do it, you have to have a level of maturity to be able to catch yourself, because you respect the person you're talking to. And you have to have a level of maturity to be able to catch yourself and stay on track, right? So again, party A, they're explaining how they feel, how they perceive the situation. They're explaining how the situation made them feel. And then me as party B, did I interrupt? I did, but I caught myself and we kept it moving and I heard them out, right? Then me, party B, it was my turn to talk. So what I did, I acknowledged what party A said, and then I began to communicate to party A what my perception of the situation was. So once they were done, I acknowledged what they said, just confirming that I hear what you're saying, and is it okay for me to go ahead and say my side? So once I got that clearance to be like, okay, it's your turn to talk, again, thank you for what you said, whatever. But this is how I saw it. So I communicated how I saw the situation. I communicated, the environment and things that were going on in the situation that may have made me see it differently. I communicated all of that, and at the end of my side, we both came to the middle and left with different perspectives, right? So here's the healthy piece of that conversation. We come to the table with disagreements. Nobody got loud. Nobody yelled. No one really got defensive. And we heard each other out. A lot of times in communication, people are listening to get that response ready, right? So how it could have went is when party A said something that I didn't agree with, I could have shut them down, talked all over them, made them not want to talk anymore just to get my points out, because getting my point out is more important than me hearing how you feel and hearing how you saw a situation, which is so unhealthy. So there's a lot of different layers. And again, it takes maturity, but it's like a muscle that you really have to practice. Because here's the thing. Make sure that you have a good tribe of people around you. And here is why. With one of my friends in particular, when we would have a conversation, I had a rhythm to interrupt them while they were talking. And I wasn't even aware, maybe I wasn't aware that I was doing it. But here's the thing. That friend came to me and said, you know what? You are constantly interrupting me when I talk, and it makes me feel like this. And all I could do as a grown ass woman was be like, damn, I am interrupting you when you talk. And then I even took even more accountability, and I started to see that pattern in other relationships, like in the workplace, right? And I'm like, I don't ever want to have a bad habit or make people walk away from me after a conversation feeling like they were not heard. Because again, communication isn't just you communicating. Healthy communication is you coming to a conversation open-minded, ready to hear what the other party has to say, not coming to a conversation with defense, with anger, with I got to get them back, I got to get a comeback, I don't agree with you, so I got to get this comeback. People are not going to see things the same way. And that is the beauty of how God made us. We are all very different. We all have our shortcomings. We all have our things that we're really good at. But people perceive things totally different all the time. So when I was having that conversation, here's something else that happened in the conversation that I love. In that conversation, one thing that I think people, and everybody's different, so this might be my thing, but I think it works. I think it's really good. In the conversation, in the disagreement, in the conversation, there was a lot of laughter. Now, were we drinking a little bit of wine? We were, but even if we weren't drinking wine in this circle, I'm just always astonished, and just like, it gets me hyped to hear people be able to have disagreements and respect each other and talk about it and then move on. That's like an orgasm to me, y'all. I don't know. Maybe I'm weird. But anyway, so in that conversation and in that disagreement, there was a lot of laughter. And I don't mean laughter like I'm going to disregard what you say and laugh in your face. It would be a lot of laughter if, damn, you saw it that way, because I don't know how you saw it that way. And then it's kind of like a joke, because again, you ain't killing nobody. Nobody is dying. These are just words. And when you use words to your advantage, you get a positive end result. It seems like what I'm saying is just really, really basic, but I think especially in romantic relationships, it's something that, again, it's a muscle that we really, really, really have to exercise. And here's the thing. Romantic relationships are very different than friendly or family relationships. So sometimes there can be a lot of other things on top of conversation that are like looming in the background. But again, it really comes down to respect and the end goal. Like, having a conversation is not the end goal. leaving the conversation with different perspectives is the end goal. Leaving the conversation, feeling like you were heard and feeling like you have a better understanding of the other person, that's the end goal. The end goal in a conversation is not to outtalk somebody, is not to force your opinion or force how you feel on somebody. It's truly a selfless act, because especially in debate and conflict, you want to, especially if you love the person, you care about the person like it's your family, you don't want to have a disagreement. You don't want to, not see eye to eye on things or have animosity or anger towards somebody. So the best way to resolve that anger and resolve that conflict is to have a understanding of the other person's side. Healthy communication, it should be the most selfless thing that you do, or one of the most selfless things that you do, because you're coming to a conversation to understand the person on the other side. You're not coming to the conversation just to be heard and walk away and make the person feel now how you feel. So I say all that because, again, it seems so small, but just the mere act. And here's the thing, in this example that I'm talking about, it was really like a not the best situation. And it was really something where I truly came to that conversation not at all like understanding or seeing it their way. I truly came to that conversation confused with their like opinions and how they saw a certain situation. So it was very much, it could have went left. Like it could have went to, no, you're wrong. No, I don't believe you. No, all these things, but no, because there was the element of maturity, because there was the element of healthy communication, because there was the element of respect for each party, because there was an understanding that nobody is perfect. People make mistakes. I might interrupt you. You might interrupt me, but let's keep it moving. Like, that's the thing. Healthy communication is all about the end goal. Like if you spend 20, 25 minutes having a conversation with somebody and you leave after that 20, 25 minutes of conversation feeling even worse or feeling like there was no resolve, then what was the point? You just wasted 20, 25 minutes. What came from it? You know what I'm saying? So I feel like, especially in relationships, it's being in a relationship is such a selfless act. And I keep saying that because it truly is, because there's no secret, right? That relationships are very difficult. There's no secret that divorce rate is very high. But when I sit back and I observe other relationships and couples around me and people who've been divorced or, relationships that did not work out, I could be wrong, but I really feel like a lot of the reasons why relationships do not work out is because healthy communication is not there. So you have two people living together, two people, having a family, or, if you have kids, if you don't have kids, but doing life together constantly. Things are bound to come up, especially when that honeymoon period wears off. When you incorporate kids or stress or, financial situations or whatever the case might be, when you incorporate those things in a relationship and in a partnership with someone, those are the test. Those are the test of, okay, shit was good. We are in our honeymoon period, but now life has to happen. The honeymoon period does not last. You know what I'm saying? Like, here's the thing. Let's keep it a buck. The honeymoon period is called a honeymoon period for a reason. It's because it's a period. But once that honeymoon period starts to kind of dissolve away and you are in the hustle and bustle of life, this is when you determine whether or not you and your partner have what it takes to have a long lasting relationship. And it is hard as a motherfucker. And this is why I had said in a previous video about the whole baby mama thing and about how marriage is important and sacred, because I would hope that if you are entering into a marriage with somebody, you've been with them long enough to kind of identify how they communicate, to identify what their end goals are in life, in relationships, how they are with other people in their lives. Like, there's so many different things that you need to determine, see, and have conversations about. Like, it's not rocket science, but it just takes maturity. And the thing about it is that if you are dating someone, or if you're married, well, I guess if you're married it's at that point, but if you're dating someone and you see something that you want to understand more, open your mouth, ask the question. And a couple of things can happen. If you're dating somebody and you're, at that dating stage and you see something that seems kind of like a red flag, or kind of seems like, this is a weird response or trigger for this person, then go to them and be like, hey, I noticed that this triggered you, or this happened. Can you tell me about what happened so we can be kind of on the same page and get to a resolution? If that person responds to you, and again, we have to understand that people are human. You are not perfect. Your partner is not perfect. So you can very well go to somebody, and at that moment, maybe it's still a heightened situation, and you can go to them in the most healthy way possible and be like, hey, what's going on? What's going on with this response? And they could actually still be in a triggered space and not want to talk about it. Respect that space, but don't sweep it under the rug. You have to open your mouth. You have to nip shit in the bud. You have to talk about stuff, whether at that moment or later. Because here's the thing. Several episodes ago, we were talking to a relationship coach, Andre, and he was saying that, some people are the kind of people that like to nip shit in the bud then and there. This just happened. Let's fix this now. Some people are the kind of people that they need to walk away and come back. And you cannot force the fact that you want to fix it now if you have a partner who needs some time to debrief or to have space. Because here's the thing. It is very mature for someone to say and identify in themselves that, I know if I come to this conversation now, the way I feel now in my heightened energy, in my, angry energy, I'm going to likely say something that I am going to regret, or I'm going to come to this conversation with anger and rage, or I'm going to, come to this conversation not selfless, but just wanting to get my point out. So if you have a partner that is the kind of person that needs to walk away, as long as they come back, you need to have the conversation. And here's something that just came to me. If you have a partner that you're the kind of person that wants to nip shit in the bud when it happens right then and there, but your partner is not, when things are smooth and good and y'all are just chilling, why not come up with like, okay, if we have a disagreement, I understand and respect that you don't want to nip things in the bud that moment, but I do. So let's meet in the middle and say that if we have an argument or a disagreement, it happens then, but we will not let 24 hours go by without nipping the shit in the bud and having a healthy conversation. Again, it sounds remedial. It kind of sounds, and it almost sounds like, work or KPI and metrics that you do at work. But this is why I always say relationships are like a business. And some people hear that and they're like, oh, just finances. Hell no. Has nothing to do with just financial. At your job, if you're not meeting certain metrics, and if you're having issues on your job, then your manager or someone is going to pull you to the side, have a conversation, find out what the deficits are, and try to figure out a way to get you to win. A good manager. It's the same thing that if you would do that at a damn job with strangers, it's the same practice that you should bring to your relationship. If you want to be an expert on your job, you should bring that same energy, honestly, if not more, to your personal relationships. It benefits no one to be an expert in something in one area of their life while another area is falling apart. You know what I'm saying? Like, because to me, that shows that you might value one area more than the other. And at the end of the day, a job, you can get fired from a job can close down, anything can happen, but your family should always be there. And again, repetitive, that is why it's so important to exercise healthy communication with a few laughs, but a lot of understanding and a lot of accountability and a lot of selfless acts. Shut up. Shut up. Shut up. Women, shut up. Men, shut up. Let your partner speak. Now, again, I'm not saying shut up, bow down, and be some weak person, man or women, because you don't want your partner yelling at you. You don't want your partner denigrating your character. You don't want your partner making you feel bad or attacking you in a conversation, because that is not selfless. You want to hear your partner's perspective. This is how I saw, this is what I felt. This is how I saw this situation happen. I'm going to express it from my side, and then I will let you speak. You know what I'm saying? Or, then the floor is open for you to express yourself. But I feel like healthy communication, it is truly the foundation of all relationships. It was so funny because in that example that I'm speaking about, after that conversation, I left seeing how they saw it, and I still truly did not understand, but hearing them express themselves to me, it made me kind of understand more of where they're coming from, be very introspective of myself moving forward, and respect the fact and the energy that they came to me with the conversation. And the other party felt the same way. That conversation took 15, 20 minutes. And then we had an hour of laughter and fun and joking. And I laughed so hard, I spit shit out of my mouth 20 minutes later. You know what I'm saying? And that should be the end goal. If somebody ain't beating your ass or, disrespecting you or, verbally abusing you, whatever, there should be no reason why words in the English language should not resolve conflict. Listen. Thank you for listening to this episode. I want to hear down in the comments below your experience with communication. What does healthy communication mean to you? What type of bad habits or stuff that you've seen in communication that has made communication not be healthy in your relationships, work, personal, kids, whatever? Drop down in the comments any kind of tips that you would have to help couples and, again, all spectrums of relationships have better and healthy communication. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, guys, and I will see you in the next episode.